It's been said that it takes a community to raise a child. From the miracle of birth until the golden years, there's a community system you can count on. Trinity Health System, a community with centers of excellence. Trinity Heart Center, Orthopedic and Spine Center, Women's Health and Birth Center, and Tony Terramana Cancer Center treat the most complex health issues. A community of rehabilitative services and a spiritual support staff treating the whole person. Trinity's quest to be the best simply puts us above everywhere in the region.
Welcome to the inaugural Star Sportscast, brought to you by Damas Grill and Sports Bar. We're here in Damas talking about high school football, and at some point down we'll talk about college football and the NFL. I'm here with Brent Zableski and Fred Younce, also known as Two Tons of Fun, Dumb, Dumber, Dumbest. We don't care. Whatever you call us is good. We're going to go into 3 segments. We're going to talk about the 10 high school football games starting, the first game starting Thursday night, first 2. Actually, first 4. We won't talk about all of them. First one being Big Red hosting Morgantown. Sobo, what do you think?
I think it's going to be a very different look to the game that we saw last year in the Valley. Morgantown's a big physical team. They really struggled with Big Red last year. Then again, Big Red doesn't have the same horses up front that they did a year ago.
We know you're a Central guy, but let's talk about Big Red.
Yeah, it hurts to be talking about the black and red. But I actually think Morgantown's going to be a little more prepared this year. I think they were shocked by what they saw with Big Red's athletes last year. But when it comes down to it, I just think Big Red's a better team. I think JoJo Pirro is going to be the difference. I don't think they're going to be able to shut him down. And when it comes down to it, their running game is going to control it.
And plus, Big Red has that Najee Murray dude and that William House dude who are pretty much really good. Yeah.
Najee Murray?
Yeah, who's him? Okay, the other second game that night is Edison Oak Glen, 2 local teams, both having a bunch of question marks. Edison graduated a lot of kids off an 8-2 season. Oak Glen graduated a lot of skill kids off a 6-4 season. Fredo, you first.
Oh, coming into the season, they both have some question marks, but I think Edison is a lot better than I actually anticipated they were going to be. I think they have some really good athletes. Mark Smith is a great athlete at quarterback. He's got a better arm than I think Byers did, and he can run better than people give him credit for. So I think he's going to control that offense very well, and they got a solid running back in Shane O'Brien. So I really like Edison in this game, even though Oak Glen isn't going to be as bad as I think some people think.
And then on the flip side, 4,000 yards in the last 4 years, how do you replace that production? So we'll see what type of offense they take, which way they go as they transition to a new year under Coach Faberge.
Well, for some, I don't know why, but I'm taking Edison. But I think it's going to be a really good football game. Friday night game, 7 o'clock. We're in Indian Creek. We're has a new coach in Jason Kexio. New attitude, new everything, starting a freshman quarterback. Indian Creek, we think, might have a pretty good season. Silva, what do you think?
I think it might be an understatement. Creek's one of my favorite teams this year because they have a very experienced offensive line coming back, all 5 starters. You have a solid quarterback, Chad Ludwig.
Or Mark Ludwig.
Yeah, well, whatever. You knew I was going to botch it sooner or later. It's going to happen. Fantastic running back, very experienced team, athleticism at the wide receivers, very talented team overall.
Yeah, with Weir, they have a very large offensive line. I think a healthy Andy Marshall, they can get a good power running game going. I can't say the kid's last name begins with a Z.
Brandon Zapatochny.
Zapatochny. I actually like that kid at tailback.
Not Smith, he's in trouble.
But, yeah, I am. I'm sorry, Brandon. But the problem is, I think with the freshman quarterback, you're going to be able to box them in, you're going to be able to shut down, and against a team like Creek, you're not going to be able to be one-dimensional and win. And I think their experience on the line beats Weir's size on the line. I think that's the difference.
Well, I'll take Creek also just because they're at home, and this is I think it's the second home game under Andrew Connor's 9th season at Creek, so it should be pretty exciting out at Kettlewell. Brooke at Parkersburg, I'll go first. Brooke is 24-4 under Bruni. They've gone to 2 straight Class AAA Western Union State Championship games. Until someone beats them, I'm still going with Brooke.
My biggest concern is the big changes on the team. They lost a lot of kids from those 2 championship runs, particularly on the defensive side. Talking to Coach Bruni during the offseason, they're going to a 3-4 defense. It's going to make them smaller up front, so we'll see how that can handle the power running attack, not just this week, but all season.
Yeah, Brooks did lose some talent. They have some kids back. I like Buck Melter as their quarterback, especially running the ball. Faulkner is a speedster. The problem I have is they did lose a lot of talent, especially with Lazier and Perkins with that power running game. They were wearing teams down last year. That's how they were really taking out the best teams. And I just think Parkersburg's, they're looking for Brooke this year. I mean, they've taken a couple losses to Brooke, and I think Parkersburg really wants a piece of it.
Yeah, I think you're right. Parkersburg really wants a piece of Brooke. All right, Claymont at Harrison. Claymont starting a fourth-year quarterback, which obviously is always a good thing. It wasn't a good thing 3 years ago when he was a freshman, but it's obviously a good thing. Harrison's got Martise Hython. We understand Rashid Mitchell's hurt, so that hurts him a little bit. What do you think about Harrison and Claymont? Short and sweet, just like you.
I think Martise Hython is going to get the ball a lot. I think Claymont has more weapons, and I kind of like Claymont to take that game.
Well, last year, the same game, Martise had 37 carries in his first game as a starter, so we expect that to maybe double in this game, especially with an injured quarterback. They're, again, another team that's experienced along the offensive line, so that's a good thing for Harrison Central. But this game was tight last year. It was 47-37, I believe, in Harrison Central's favor, so we'll see if it swings the same way this year.
All right, we have another fun Friday night opener. We're at Madonna at Valley. Madonna's got a bunch of question marks only because they have a new coach, new staff, new attitude, new offensive scheme, new quarterback, new running back, new this, new that. I still like the Blue Dons just because I think they have a lot of tradition. What do you think?
It's Madonna. They turn out good programs, good kids. I think Ross Gomez is going to be electric behind center, so we'll see how the transition goes.
Yeah, I like Madonna. It is Madonna. They still have talent. They lost some good kids, but they're still a good team. I think Valley's better than you would want to give them credit for because they have that tailback. I mean, 1,500 yards last year, division or Class A champion in 100. He's a beast, but I think they're too one-dimensional to beat them.
All right, we got Utica at Buckeye Local on Saturday night. I'll take Justin Deere, Buckeye, enough said.
Yeah, as a Buckeye Local alumnus, I guess I'm not going to pick against the Panthers at this point in time. Maybe a little later there, Coach Barsh, but right now you got to go with the best athlete on the field, and that's almost always going to be Justin Deere week in and week out.
Yeah, Deere. Enough.
Another interesting opener on Saturday night is Tuskegee Central, Steubenville Central Catholic. Both have new coaches. Both have new offensive schemes. Tuskegee's going from pitching all over the place to running it all over the place. It looks like Steubenville Catholic's going from running it most of the time to throwing it all over the place most of the time. Since you're the Central alum, let's go, son.
Obviously, all season, I've been told in my household I don't get to eat unless I pick Central. But this week, I actually would. Actually, this week I would be picking them anyway. I kind of like Central's. I like the way Central's going with their new offense. I think they're going to outman Tuskegee this week, and they're going to pick up a win to start the season right.
I think it's nice that you have a Brenton Colabella who had 1 year starting now as a sophomore. He'll be one of the best quarterbacks in the Valley for the next 3 years. The only concern is defensively. Are they big enough? Are they physical enough to keep up? Offensively, they're going to put some points up.
All right, and you have the other Saturday night game. You got Toronto, Wellsville. Obviously, we're all in agreement. Toronto should have won this game last year, except for a block punt last minute of the game. Both teams coming back with a lot. I'm taking Toronto because I think they're kind of going on the upswing, but it's at Wellsville. You say...
I like Toronto. We'll get more into that a little bit later, but you go from one McGee to the other McGee, Devontae to Tony. Both different types of backs, but both very special runners. And Coach Meek's going to ride them because that's what he does.
Yeah, he loves running the football. There's no doubt about that. Him and Crawford just pound. All right.
Yeah, I just think Toronto's power running game is going to take control of that game. I mean, Wellsville has some decent skill guys on the outside, but I just think when it comes down to it, Toronto's going to control the ball, and they're not going to let happen what happened last year.
All right, one of the Thursday night games we'll talk about real quick is New Philly at Wheeling Park. It's game 10 of our 10. I will be up front. I'm going to drink the Wheeling Park Kool-Aid early. I'm going to jump on the bandwagon early, and I will take Park for some pathetic reason, even though they've been 3-17 the last 2 years. I'm taking Park.
You can stay with them because I'm going to look at New Philadelphia. This is a team that's had a long tradition of winning up until last year where they hit a speed bump, but it's a very good program under Coach Dennison.
I agree with Brent. I don't do it that often, but yeah, in this game, I just think New Philadelphia is going to have a bounce back here. They struggled a little bit, but that's not a typical New Philly team.
No wonder why coaches think you're twins. Okay, that's our first segment. We'll come into our second segment here in a second. First, we're going to bring in Kristen from Damon's. She's going to give you a little Damon's 411 on what's going on. Hi, Kristen. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
We're doing great, thanks.
Wonderful. My name is Kristen. I'm one of the bartenders here at Damon's Bar and Grill. Please come and visit us for all your high school, college, and pro football action. We have 10-foot screens, high-def, wireless. We offer all the sports packages, offer weekly specials, weekend football specials, and we'd love to have you here. We have a great atmosphere. We'd love to see you.
Thanks, Kristen.
Thanks, Kristen.
Have a good one.
I'm already here and I still want to come.
Dude, it's food, and we know where you go.
Food?
Food?
Yeah, food.
Food?
Free?
Have me a food.
Yeah, exactly. Have me hello. Yeah,
You have me a food.
Food. Let's see. We have a couple things. First, we'll talk about our surprises of what's coming on this year. Obviously, you have to take Big Red out of the equation. I don't think they've missed the playoffs in a good 10 years, if not longer than that. They are the class of the Ohio Valley. There's no two ways about that. But even they have question marks what's coming out this year. They have question marks at quarterback. They have, just because it's a first-year starter. They have question marks at offensive line. They have question marks. But leaving Big Red out of it. So who do you think is high on your list of teams that could make the playoffs that maybe have never seen the playoffs or haven't seen them in a really long time?
Well, I know where my compadre is going to go, so I'll just stay away from one particular team, Toronto. And I'll go with Buckeye Local. I know it's the homer pick for me at the moment, but it's mainly, and believe me, I don't always stick to my guns when it comes to certain teams that, I graduated from. But Justin Deere is that talented. Plus, they also, another team that we've talked about at length, at points already, is that they have an experienced offensive line, guys returning, guys that played defense last year, a senior quarterback, even though it's A.J. Barsh's first year, but again, he has some experience playing the position. They have some talent, and it's not just Deere. They have some other running backs like Andy Stock that has some speed and some ability, so they're in a weak Buckeye 8 conference, and anything can happen with those teams. That includes Buckeye Local, that includes Harrison. You always have Ferry, but you will see where everyone else goes in the Buckeye 8 this year.
Okay, Mr. Redneck.
Yeah, my surprise team, the team that could potentially make a little run for themselves is Toronto. I get apprehensive with Toronto because as a unit, sometimes they tend to have maybe an implosion at some point in the season. I think they saw that at Central last year. And but this is a team, I really love their offensive line. I love Tony McGee at tailback. They got some other young speedsters that are coming in there. They're just a physical football team, and I think their weakness on defense was their secondary last year, and all those kids have experience now. But everyone's back in their secondary. Plus, again, with the young speedsters in there, I think this is a team with the schedule that they have. They have a 6-game span where if they don't win all 6, it's a disappointment for them. So, I mean, if they can steal a couple of the other games, this is a team that could be in the
Pressure on the Red Knights.
Yeah. Sorry, Coach Meek. I don't mean to put you out there, but you guys have a very good. The Toronto has a very good chance to make a run this year and have a shot at the playoffs.
To be fair, he did preface this with Coach before we talked about it, so he knew we were talking about it.
Yeah, Coach knew I had said that.
That's nice of you to give Coach a little foresight there.
As if he didn't think the same thing already,
We're all in agreement that Buckeye 8 is down this year. Not to demean the conference, but Belleville went to D5, Edison went to D4, Harrison went to D4, Creek is D3. I mean, and St. C is going to be down. They'll be good, but the story is Monterosa may not play. He's out for these first 3 or 4 weeks. So Creek has it. Look, Creek takes over. We're game 1. We all think Creek should win going 1-0. Then they play a really talented Lindsay team in week 2, and they've had a hard time filling the week 2 schedule. But they're going to play a really, really talented Lindsay team in week 2, and then they got Oakland in week 3. So they could get some momentum going into the Buckeye 8 conference, and they get St. C in week 4. And if you're going to get St. C, you better get them early. And they're getting them in week 4, so we think that Indian Creek could make some noise. Absolutely make some noise. We're also in agreement that in West Virginia Class A, Madonna is still a top 10 team. I think in my poll, I think I voted them 6th in the Daily Mail poll, something along those lines. Once again, they have question marks because of new coaching staff, new attitude, new offensive scheme, new defensive scheme, new quarterback. Connor Leah graduated. A lot of the other, Eloy, the other 3 seniors graduated. And Ross Gillis has never been quarterback for the varsity level. So just like the large kids in Weir High, who's never been a quarterback, one's a freshman, one's a sophomore, you've never been a quarterback in the varsity level, and that takes a little bit of getting used to. Point blank is a little bit getting used to. Alex Buckmelter last year was gifted in the fact that he had Lazier, Bernardo, Ian Morris, Shane Paisano, Billy Perkins, and just a lot of offensive weapons to help him be a sophomore quarterback.
And this isn't Ohio State where you get accurate week 1. You generally get a tough opponent
Exactly.
in Ohio Valley football. So the transition's not as easy as a lot of people make it out to be. You can just pencil them in and say, this kid's going to be great. It doesn't work that way.
I mean, because I would fully think that Mr. Connor is going to throw some blitzes at Mr. Larch on Friday night and make the freshmen do something on the fly. Wouldn't you think?
Absolutely.
Oh, he's gonna make the freshman try to throw the ball. He's gonna come up. He's gonna take, and he's gonna show him some things he hasn't seen before.